Welcome everybody to Friday Review. Okay, so out of all the things that we share on social media and different platforms, we find that we've got the most downloads tends to be on our ebook talking about working fewer hours. So in that ebook, it discusses how business owners like yourself can start to think about leveraging the business, how to grow profits while taking less time in the business, having more time out of the business. So I thought it'd be a good thing to actually talk about with Andy today of what is it that about this book that is really working for business owners and why are they finding it interesting?
Yeah, great. I mean, let's be fair, why did we go into business in the first place? To get more choice, probably around hours, right? So there's probably two things to cover off here. The first one is team, because why do we have a team? To help us achieve our results in a leveraged fashion. The second one is the way that we think about hours. So maybe that's a shorter one, and maybe that'll run over into next week's Mindset Monday actually, but just to sort of put it on the table right now as a bit of a teaser for next week. So I mean, the fantastic thing was last week we were at Business Excellence Forum. It's an annual event that happens where us coaches take our clients along, 1,300 people in the room last week. And we had great speakers like Brad came over from the States. We had Sir Clive Woodward presenting on team. I'm going to touch on some of his content in a moment. James Clear, the world authority on habit creation and high performance. Nice. He was speaking as well. So awesome. It's really fantastic stuff. But if I were to take the overarching theme from last week, it was about quality of communication brings quality of results.
Right.
So if we get consistent quality in our communication, then we get consistent quality in our results. And really, when we start thinking about this work fewer hour things, what are we really talking about? We're talking about building a high performance team so they do the work and we don't have to. And in my opinion, where does that start? Well, the underpinnings of that are, apart from the systems, the hard systems in terms of the way we'd expect the work to be done, the soft system, and the soft system is culture.
Yes.
So, Clive Woodward last week talked a lot about culture, but he called it teamship. And he gave the example of the England rugby team 2003, and he gave the example of the Olympic team in 2016. He worked with both of those teams, obviously. And essentially the premise was that he got them to write their rules on teamship. And teamship were all the behaviours that they perceived to be allowable within that organisation of athletes or rugby players. The key point was it was actually written by the team, not by him.
Right.
Okay. So the team took ownership for the points. They put all the points on the table that they thought should be included, things like punctuality and dress code and language and obviously lots more things than that. But they would be some examples. Put those on the table and then wrote their rules around them. And because they wrote the rules, the overarching rule in that was that 100% of the team had to agree with the rules before they could be actually presented to the leader of the team to be signed off. So 100% buy-in. And then if you've got 100% buy-in, obviously it's 100% commitment and people are okay to be held accountable to it.
Absolutely.
So, he showed us the black book for the England rugby team, which is pretty cool.
Okay, guys, we'll have a short break now. But after the break, we'll talk about how you can actually apply this into your business. Start talking about the results that you can get by applying this same sort of, this notion of what he calls teamship. I love that, by the way, teamship. We always use culture, and culture can be like, well, what does culture actually mean? Teamship. Fantastic.
Yep.
Catch you after the break.
How far are you going to take your business? The content you're learning in this video is only the tip of the iceberg. If you're ready to take your business to the next level and start implementing the right strategies that are right for you, then now is the time to book your complimentary coaching session. In the session, we explore what strategies will get you to where you want to be in the most effective way possible. Book your coaching session today. Call 01527 757 910 or visit goodtogreat.actioncoach.co.uk.
Welcome back, guys. Okay, quality in communication equals quality in results. Who wants more results for their business? Who wants more time out of their business? Who wants to be able to go away on holiday for 3 months at a time, wherever you may be in the world, and knowing that your business is growing without you. Andy's going to talk a little bit more about now teamship and how they can actually build this culture of development, consistent development. When you're not there, you haven't got to be the superhero, have you? Superhero of your business.
Absolutely right. So I mean that's the point, isn't it? You know, sometimes what do superheroes do? They fly in and they fly out again. Actually, they're not there all the time. So you know, you might think that you're flying in to save the day, but the point is, what happens when you're not there? So that's inconsistent too. And we preface this by saying consistency of communication. So superhero does not equal consistency in my book. If we go back to teamship, you know, the fascinating thing for me is these are a set of values, but they're documented in the form of behaviours. Because a set of values don't mean anything until we get that rubber to hit the road, and that has to come through accepted behaviours and consistent behaviours. So the power in that book, once it's been written and signed off by everybody in the organisation, is absolutely phenomenal. It's building a culture within the business which is accepted and people are prepared to be held accountable to, and should therefore, you know, Patrick Lencioni in his book The Advantage talks about accidental culture, and I love that, because how often do you find that there are things within your culture that have just happened and shouldn't be there because it hasn't been built in or stamped out? It's just something that's happened as a result of people being hired and creating it, and it's not part of the culture that you want. So for me, this black book, let's call it, is, you know, your operating rules for that culture and what's acceptable. So it defines what's allowable, and accidental culture isn't allowable. So much more consistency again.
So we spoke on Mindset Monday about goals and dreams. If we're going to actually reach these goals and dreams, the things that Andy's talking about now is the only way we're actually going to get there.
Right.
Of course, it depends on the size of your goal. But as business owners, I thought that you'd have gone into business to go through all the setup and the whole stages of business to actually own a business, not own a job.
Yeah.
So to have this idea of culture, the things that Andy's talking about, look at what it actually means for you. Right. What does it mean if you didn't have this culture?
Absolutely.
Chaos.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we employ a team to get leverage, don't we? What's the definition of leverage? Divide to multiply, or more with less.
More with less,
so
yeah.
Rather than when you started your business, you know, you were the guy who did the MD, the sales role, the marketing role, the operations role, the HR role, and the finance role.
Yeah.
Break that down into multiple roles to get leverage, because now you've got specialists doing each of those things. The challenge is for me actually that comes with a mindset shift, and I think that's what we'll roll over until Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just talking about leverage then, you know, you think about Steve Jobs when he first started Apple. Could you imagine Steve Jobs, if he was still around, Steve Jobs doing everything in the business right now?
Interesting.
How big would that business be if Steve Jobs hadn't got out of his own way?
Right.
Okay, guys. So, as we mentioned on Mindset Monday, what are your goals? Where are you going with this? Are you still reaching for the stars? Are you still going for that?
And would you like to work for your hours?
Yeah, work for your hours, yeah. And if you would like to work for your hours, make sure you download the little ebook. It's only a short read, but there's some good gold nuggets in there that'll get you thinking a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So if we don't start thinking differently, we're going to be doing the same things over and over again. And the definition of that is
insanity, right? Absolutely.
Very good. Okay, guys, catch you for Mindset Monday next week. Have a good weekend.